Hello everyone. This is your man over here, Sirius, reporting for duty. You already know what it is. Back at it again, 2023. We're making all new videos now. We're coming out with a lot of content that's never been seen before. A lot of other updates. A lot of other situations. I know you guys are excited. I know you guys know that, this guy makes some really good stuff. He's going to bring out some really good stuff, and we're surprised that he's really here, and he's going to push out this stuff for us, and it's going to be an enjoyable opportunity to learn some new stuff from this guy, and whatever the case may be. I aim to give out new content, and we're going to discuss a lot of the stuff that you guys see in the intros and stuff like that. That's why the intros are important. You see the intros, the music playing. Notice a lot of that content, a lot of the stuff that's on the intros has been talked about. Really go look at all my videos and look at what's on the intros. A lot of that stuff has already been talked about, and there's a lot of it that has not been talked about yet. We got to get on those topics as soon as possible. So I'm making time for videos now. I'm making time for that. I got a lot of things going on, but I'm making more time for videos. At the same time, the whole building thing, we're gonna get on top of everything eventually. Just trust me on that. All right. Now, I hope you guys are doing well today on this Sunday afternoon. Today we're gonna be talking about a very serious topic, and I need your undivided attention today. And we're gonna discuss some things. And oh yeah, somebody made a comment about me looking like I never age or something like that. Well, I mean, fun fact about me, I'm an ageless person. I always look youthful. I have that part of my DNA. I must have got it from my mother or something. But I don't age, like physically. Like I don't age. Like I always look like I'm like in my 20s or something like that, like 19, 20. I always look like that. Now if I grow facial hair, I'm gonna look different. Right now I'm on the verge of like gaining a lot of weight, while working out and stuff like that. So if you notice in the future videos, I might look like all all swole and stuff like that. I'm building muscle, working out at the gym and stuff like that. So you might notice a difference in how I'm looking later on down the line. Yeah. All about being healthy and stuff like that. I take my health very seriously, and I advise you guys to do the same. Now, anyways, leaving that alone, enough about me, my situation. All right, so today we're discussing, I'm sure you guys have seen this stuff. America's biggest banks are bracing for enduring recession. Well, that's a lie. See, they've been telling you guys this for a minute now. Some kind of recession. No. What's really going on, people, is that the banks are starting to plummet. We're entering into a very dangerous time right now in society. I'm sure you see Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Chase, some of the most famous banks, okay, worldwide, okay? Who don't know about Chase or Wells Fargo? Who don't know about those banks? Even Bank of America is popular. Even Citibank. You gotta understand, you guys are starting to see that, Silicon Bank and all these other banks are having these situations where people are pulling money out of these banks, and these banks are losing the money that's already been stored in there by the individuals who are already a part of that company. They're the individuals who started a partnership with the bank. And they're leaving their money in the bank thinking that everything's going to be all right. And then out of nowhere, they're finding out that their money is not available to them. And it's lines and lines and lines and lines of people looking at this situation, and they're wondering, wait a minute, what is going on around here? What is going on? Where's all the money going? Okay? All right? We're going to talk about this. We're going to really talk about this. Because your tax dollars, people, is not going where you think it's going. Okay? All right? Your tax dollars are not going where you guys think it's going. And we're gonna really discuss this. But one thing I want to let everybody know. Now is the time that you guys are going to start seeing some real strange things going on. All right? People report seeing all kind of sightings, all kind of weird things going on. Nobody really understands what the hell is going on. That's why channels like mine exist. To give you guys solid content on what the hell is going on. And you know, you guys seen my track record for 10 years. My track record, it don't fail. Okay? My track record doesn't fail. You guys know what I'm about. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, when it comes to things like your money, when it comes to things like income tax, when it comes to things like, when it comes to things like your money, the income tax, and everything else, I'm going to tell you guys right now, okay? I'll tell you guys right now. You guys are expecting money from income tax, right? Right? When to expect 2023 IRS income tax refunds. Estimated date chart for tax refunds. And they have these charts dealing with your refunds and stuff like this. People. The truth of the matter is, a lot of people are waiting on their income tax, and you guys were already told that there's a very great possibility that you guys may not be receiving your income tax this year. This was already stated on social media, and I believe wasn't it Joe Biden that was talking about this? About some kind of situation with tax dollars. I want you guys to understand something. There is a very great chance, more than 50%, about 75% chance, most people are not going to receive their income tax. So people are putting this money in to take care of their income tax and stuff like this, and I understand why. But don't be surprised if you don't receive your income tax this year. Do not be surprised. That's why the banks are losing their money. They cannot sustain this money, this fiat currency, with the electrical energy that's attached to it, this virus system that's running. The energy is being sucked out of the money. It's being sucked out. And that's why the money is disappearing in these banks. There is a virus in their system. The virus has a virus, if you know what I mean. This program that they've been running, it has a virus installed in it. And when they talk about carbon emissions, they're talking about our people and the carbon energy that we're letting off on a 24-hour daily basis. The difference is the ones that are awakened, they're letting off a lot more carbon out of their bodies. Here's the issue, though. Because of what's going on with the sun and what's going on with those X flares, what's eventually going to end up happening is that we're going to have a societal collapse, right? Okay? And they keep telling you guys that everything's going to be all right, and, you know, you'll get your income tax and everything will be all right. Well, I beg to differ. I'm telling you guys, if you're paying close attention, you'll be able to see that many stores all around the United States and in different places are starting to go cashless. You're noticing this in certain Walmarts. For example, check out this video right here. Tell me what you guys think. Check this out.
The digital yuan is meant to be fast.
Check this out. This is in China.
Huang Dan just paid with a new type of money at this pharmacy. That's because China's paper cash is going digital. The digital yuan is meant to be faster than using credit or debit cards on digital wallets like Apple Pay. Plus, there are other incentives, like zero transaction fees for merchants, and one day it'll even work offline. The one major difference is that the digital yuan is 100% trackable by China's central bank, and when it's launched nationwide, it could impact not only citizens, but also foreign companies operating in the country.
The central bank will know who's paying, how much they're paying, when they're paying, where they're paying, and then to analyze the patterns of payment.
China's
exactly. And this is how you know that the United States and China and Russia, at the end of the day, they're all in collusion. None of these guys are fighting each other. And on top of that, if you heard what the brother said on the video, that black dude, you saw what he said. He said that they're gonna know what you paid for, how much you paid for it, what it is that you paid for, where are you purchasing it, where is it going, when it will arrive to you, what are you using it for. I mean, they're on top of it. I mean, they literally want to know everything that's going on with that purchase. This is why they want the system. They want the dollar to plummet. They want the dollar to plummet. Why do you think America is in debt? Why do you think the fiat currency that we have in this country is not backed by silver or gold? They literally wanted this to happen, and John F. Kennedy wanted to go against it. And when he wanted to go against it and create different fiat notes or whatever the case may be to go against that and try to back it by gold or whatever, he got assassinated. And I'm trying to explain this to you guys. You guys need to understand. They want to create a situation to where you will be dependent upon them and you can't fight back at any given point. They will literally know everything that you're doing with your money. They want to be all up in your business, meaning they want a dictatorship. They want... I'm telling you, these Democrats are out of control. Alright? Alright? I'm telling you, man. If Trump doesn't get in office before everything goes to shit, I mean, he's the only one that's actually trying to put the situation to where America will be in better shape, but it's still not going to work out in the end because there's a virus in the system. So what I'm saying is, China's new digital currency raises privacy concerns all around the world, because we both know that if China's doing something, it won't take long before America's doing the same thing. Why? Because everything that America has, for the most part, is coming from out of China. The difference is China's falling apart. China's not a real world power anymore, like they're telling you. If you pay attention to what's going on in China, their rivers are drying up. The Yangtze River and all these other rivers is drying up. They're having earthquakes, mudslides, you name it. It's going to hell in a handbasket over there. And you see that they're telling you guys about this currency that you guys are using. Very soon they're either going to pull the plug somehow, or the system is going to end up collapsing once we get this extreme X-flare radiation from the sun. Once the sun hits the planet with enough energy, it will fry all of the technological systems that they got running for the most part, and it'll be almost as good as the EMP because of the fact that your technology won't be working right, and on top of that, your dollar will collapse at that point, and they're going to try to go digital right behind that, because they need to structure the system to where it's in their best benefit. And this dollar, the way we're using it now, is not the way they really intended for us to use it in the long run. They wanted to switch to digital. But the American people are always fighting for their rights. As you saw with COVID, you saw the situation. People were not having it. They realized that this, the vac, if you will, they realized that something was wrong with this damn thing. Okay? And you see people going all up in arms because they feel like their freedoms is being violated. Rightfully so. Okay? Alright? Alright? Let's, I'm telling you guys, the banks are at risk. Okay, hold on.
It also said it plans to gradually replace all cash and coins with the digital yuan. The country would be the first major economy to introduce a digital currency in the real world. And while many users say the digital yuan is easy to use, China's money revolution could usher in privacy concerns. Using the phone to pay isn't a new concept for Huang, since he's one of about 770 million mobile payment users in China who rely on digital wallets like Ant Group's Alipay and Tencent's WeChat Pay. These private tech firms hold data on transactions, which the government can access. But because the digital yuan is developed by the central bank, there are no third parties, and that data sits with the government. To begin testing the digital currency online and in physical stores, last year the Chinese central bank started doling out digital cash through public lotteries in cities across China. Huang is one of the 750,000 people who have won some piece of the $23 million prize in the past year. To start spending his $30 worth of winnings, Huang first downloaded the digital yuan app.
要不是商家来扫你的二维码，要么是你去扫商家的二维码。
It recorded that he spent money on lunch and medicine one Saturday afternoon in the southwestern city of Chengdu.
他现在每个商家的门口都会贴一个告示，对，就是他说我接受数字人民币。
About 10,000 merchants in Chengdu have signed up to accept digital yuan.
数字红包可以使用的。
Zhong Jiayin manages a dumpling restaurant, and she said that digital yuan has some advantages compared with other payment options.
现在就是多了一个付款方式嘛，而且他们不收手续费哦，我们肯定很乐意的。
For instance, two of China's most popular digital wallets charge merchants an average of 0.6% for every transaction. There's also another upside in the works. The central bank is planning to make transactions possible even without an internet connection. So restaurants like Zhong's won't have to worry about their spotty connections that sometimes make it hard to process digital transactions.
This digital yuan is less about money and more about data.
Yaya Fanusi is an adjunct senior fellow at the nonprofit think tank Center for a New American Security in Washington, D.C. He's been studying digital currencies for the past 6 years, and he says China's new currency is not as anonymous as it claims.
The central bank has talked about there being controllable anonymity, which really means it's anonymous horizontally, right? The users that are using it don't necessarily know the identity of everyone that they're interacting with. But vertically, it's not anonymous. The central bank is at the top with information on all the users.
China's central bank has promised to protect users' privacy. For now, people can choose whether they want to use the digital currency. But the central bank has said that as the country becomes a cashless society, it expects the digital yuan to become the primary way to make transactions.
The Chinese government could force Chinese companies to only accept payment in digital yuan, which would then force the foreign companies, their foreign counterparts for trade. It could ensure that they have to use that.
Central banks have authority to control money supply, but their actions to restrict a digital currency would have a more immediate effect, leaving companies holding that currency all the more vulnerable. For example, Fanusi says China's central bank could put an expiration date on the digital money, similar to how lottery winnings have to be spent before a certain date.
It means that the Chinese government could set up a whole lot of things to have your currency maybe valid or invalid based on its own priorities. This is almost like handing over the keys to your business or to your finance department in some ways, because you really can control what at the end of the day may happen with the funds that you're holding.
While there are privacy
See,
concerns...
and that's an issue. Because what it means is that this dictatorship, this Chinese government, they're communists, and in a communistic society, I'm gonna have a video talking about communism. Okay, this communistic mindset. See, they'll be able, if let's say the government sees that you're having like a lot of tickets being given to your vehicle because it's parked in the wrong space or whatever the case may be. You know, if you keep getting a fine for that or whatever the case may be, or maybe you didn't go to your jury duty or whatever the case may be, they can take money out of your bank account and hold it over your head like a carrot to a freaking rabbit and say, if you want this money back, you got to do as we say. They can literally take away your freedoms, people. Understand where we're heading. You're being trapped. What you think all this QR code business is about? What you think all this digital currency is about? When I saw Cash App come out, I know a lot of people use it. It's a great app. But once I saw that app, Cash App, once I saw that come out, I knew it was all over for the fiat currency, the paper dollar. I knew at that point that we were going to head into a situation with this digital currency, and I mean a big problem, because you can't even purchase nothing without these people looking into what you're purchasing. There's no privacy. You think you own a vehicle? You don't own that vehicle. They own the vehicle. You think you own your home? You don't own your home. When you're living under a dictatorship, when you're living under a communist regime, the Democratic Party. And this Xi Jinping fellow. And all these other ones. When you're living under that kind of system, you will see that you don't own anything out here. They own it. And they can always hold it over your head. And what you think all this martial law is about? What you think about Joe Biden going up in there trying to fight to take people's rights away and shit? What you think this guy's trying to do? What you think this guy Joe Biden's trying to do? When you're living under a one world government, a dictatorship, a communist regime like the Democratic Party, what you think that's about? You don't own nothing out here. You think you own that car? You don't own that car. The government owns that car. You think you own that home? You don't own that home. The government owns that home. You don't own nothing, not even the shirt on your back. They want to have y'all as slaves. That's how they want to have y'all. If y'all was already mental slaves watching that TV all damn day and working a 9 to 5, well, now you're not just a financial slave. Now you're a slave on a digital level, meaning they can track everything you do. Why you think they're putting cameras everywhere? Huh? Why you think they got satellites for? Huh? Why you think they trying to put up black lights everywhere? When COVID, you know, when that shit started, what you think they putting black lights all over the place for? Because they want to be able to monitor you through that black light, and if it shines on you, they can see if you were vaxxed or not. They can see that. I don't even think a lot of people realize that. Okay, continuing on.
Banussi says digital currencies can create more efficient monetary policy and counter criminal activities. China
Sorry
Central
about
Bank
that.
said its digital yuan system would help combat money laundering, gambling, and terrorism financing.
我们会坚持中心化的管理。
Meanwhile, the central bank is also looking into ways to make international transactions possible in digital yuan. As Banussi says, there's a big variable that'll determine if that's going to work.
Will foreign governments allow their businesses and citizens to hold digital yuan and use it? It's not a given that all other countries are going to transact with this, and will, because of the privacy, the data issues. So this is really to be determined.
While there's no set date for a national rollout, some officials have said the digital currency could be ready for wider use next February during the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing.
I think there is an element of showing off for the big international audience. We have a central bank digital currency that we're using. We're the only country, the biggest country that's doing it.
And China isn't alone in this experiment. According to one survey of central banks, 86% of them from the US to Japan are exploring these types of currencies. For early digital yuan winners like Huang, he says the trial went smoothly, and if the currency does go mainstream, he expects the surveillance aspect will matter less to him.
就是你的便利和被监控的部分，它一定是会被让渡的，因为我觉得我的消费习惯已经被培养了之后，其实
So this guy
我很难。
don't even care about being surveillanced, and he wants to well, wait, what am I getting out of this guy
觉得支付
right now? What am I getting out of this guy? If I get used to spending money in this convenient way, it's really hard to turn around. Well, it comes down to having your freedom taken away from you, having your privacy taken away from you, not even be able to live your life without somebody breathing down your damn neck. I mean, they want to know what you shitted out this morning. They want to know what's in your stool, bruh. I mean, shit. They want to know who you slept with last night. I mean, these people are insane, man. They want to tag a damn barcode to the back of your head, kid. I mean, this guy's brain dead, clearly. Because they're trying, you got to understand, this is a huge problem. And a lot of people are not aware. I saw what happened with BLM, Black Lives Matter. I saw how many of our people were fooled. I'm not even African American. I'm not. But that's not the point. I saw how many of our carbon-based folk, I saw how many of y'all was fooled to go into that nonsense, supporting that madness. And you were fooled. And look at what happened with those women trying to destroy their own people, trying to take all that money and use it for their own selfish gain. And then some sister, what's her name, Candace Owens, she had to come out and spill the beans on all the evil shit these women were doing or whatever. If y'all can be that easily fooled by George Soros and his madness, then you guys are going to be easily fooled by this shit. Let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it 100. Alright? So that's why I'm saying we need to use common sense, people. Alright? Alright? Because there's just so many lies being thrown around.
San Francisco. It's cringe time. Listen, we're stopping the paradise and coming crashing back.
Alright, people.
reality.
Check this out.
Oh my god, this is that guy who came and walked down the street. He's a number over 9,000 of these.
This is where your tax dollars are going, people.
There's a warning on this video. The lawless streets of San Francisco. It's cringe time. Listen, we're stopping the paradise and coming crashing back down to reality.
People get stabbed, people get hurt, as you can see on my face. People hurt people all the time.
What happened to your face?
I got jumped by people in San Francisco.
Sick.
Welcome to San Francisco, a city that boasts iconic scenery and oceanfront views. From the air, the city looks calm and beautiful. Unfortunately, the streets tell a very different story.
Oh my, look at
San Francisco,
this
people.
Is in the richest country on earth. We allow this here. Richest country on earth. The most decadent time in human history. The softest society has ever been. And we have a tent. You can't even walk down the street. It's a risk. Wow.
A very different story. A combination of Proposition 47, the city's sanctuary status, and harm reduction programs that embolden drug use has left San Francisco in a state of turmoil as drug addiction, theft, homelessness, and violent crime run rampant throughout the city.
Y'all seeing this? It's a tent over there.
Get 50% off all Domino's online.
Wow, I
pizza
really
orders
hate these
in
commercials.
This week only, which includes right now.
Life cycle tincture. Somebody gave me some of that
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
It's
So
very
like,
good.
of course, mushrooms and stuff like that. Like, I just have.
And over there, you know, it's very bad. It's very bad, and it's not going to stop because we're not going to stop it. I'm trying to. I'm in the streets. I'm yelling at people to be together, to help each other, and they're going against it.
What
so
the
they
hell?
don't want it. It's a clash. It's an obvious clash.
Dealt with something.
Look at this insanity.
Level, but here in Phoenix to get boba.
All this drugs
And yeah, boba tea.
that these
And
people are
there's
doing,
a dude having a full
this is where your
blown
tax dollars are going,
out
people.
of his mind on the side of the boba shop, bro. Straight up, looking like a rabid animal, shaking around like a maniac, jumping up and down, and he's making Walking Dead noises and shit. He was like, straight up tweaking out of his mind. Like, bro, can't even go down the street and get a boba. Walking Dead out here in the States.
And it's in my face, and it's in everybody's face, and they're going to continue to do it. So, it's no hope for America.
To highlight the
See?
realities of living in the city,
See? This is what I'm talking
San
about.
Francisco local Richie Nguyen.
People are saying now that there's no hope for America. And with that being said, I'm going to tell you like this. When you start hearing statements like this, like there's no hope for America and stuff like this, you got to understand something, people. I've been telling you guys for years that this country wasn't going to last. We're entering into those stages right now as we speak. I don't make content to drive people crazy. I don't do this stuff to try to make people get all worried and antsy and scared and stuff like that. Listen, you got plenty of time to do whatever you got to do. Handle what you got to handle. Okay? I come from a very understanding kind of place. I told you guys before in the last message. Don't let this content drive you crazy. At the same time, be aware and use common sense. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Common sense. Alright? A lot of people are going to, keep fear diving and fear mongering and all this other stuff. I simply put this stuff out there for you guys to absorb the information, take it in for what it is, utilize it to your best benefit, but don't let the shit drive you crazy either. Okay? Because that's all it's doing is developing a sick mind, people. We have to be able to take things to take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to look at it for what it is and understand that this is what it is. But at the same time, don't become so absorbed by the information that you lose all sense and reason, and you lose all understanding. This is for awareness purposes. This is for understanding. This is for people who are at the level that they can understand this information and not let it greatly affect them in a negative way. This is where your tax dollars is going. People are getting dosed up with fentanyl, opioids, okay? All right? At extreme levels in San Francisco or whatever. And this is spreading all over the United States. This is what they're not telling you. And you saw them boys over there stealing from those train cars. Remember that video I was telling you guys about the people stealing from those trains? That's only gotten worse. And they're not being put back in prison or whatever. They're getting put back right on the street. Okay? We are entering into the stages of societal decay. Alright? And the reason why I put this stuff out there is because people need to know what's going on. Alright? Okay? Continuing on.
G, a former drug addict himself, has lived in the city his entire life. After getting clean, he began dedicating his time to exposing the horrific realities of living in downtown San Francisco.
The neighborhood is kind of took a turn for the worse ever since the fentanyl frenzy, as I like to call it. This phenomenon just kind of came out of nowhere. It took it over for heroin. If you see them with the mask and the backpack on, those are usually the people that are selling. Like this person right here smoking fentanyl right there. You know what I mean? And we're right in front of the federal building. So this corner right here is the public office.
Dude, I can't imagine the 90s. You can just bust out fentanyl in front of a federal building. Nobody to arrest you. And if they did arrest you, woke DAs will just let you back out on the street. Cool.
Right. Right, exactly. And remember what that guy in Illinois said. That, I believe it was a congressman from Illinois. You can look this video up. Those who know. It was a congressman in Illinois who said, very soon we won't even be able to, when you call 911 for police dispatch or whatever the case may be, to go to your designated area to mitigate or try to figure out the situation or what's going on in your neck of the woods. Guess what? We won't even be able to send out a single officer to come handle that situation. Very soon, you people are going to have to police yourselves. If somebody breaks into your shed or breaks into your basement or breaks into your home, it's going to be up to the citizen to deal with this person in any way, shape, or form possible to deal with the situation, which means you people are going to have to police yourselves, which means people are going to end up having to take life in order to keep their own life. This is where we're heading. Where the police will be basically inept. It'll be inevitable that they don't show up. It'll become an everyday thing. You've seen the billboard in Austin, Texas talking about the police have been disbanded. Do not contact us at any given point. If you're having a situation, you better figure it out on your own. That's a warning right there. That's Austin, Texas telling you that. Now, the state of Illinois is telling you guys this. It's spreading. This problem is spreading. And that thing in Illinois, when they was telling people that this is what it's going to be, it started on January 1st. I'm telling you. Now look at San Francisco. Do you guys not see what's going on? All these different states in a country are becoming what you call, I like to call them purge states, where there's no law and order, no police to stop the situation from getting worse, and people are gonna have to fend for themselves, man. Do you understand what I'm saying? Man, I'm telling you, man, this thing's getting bad to worse, man. But as we proceed,
like America has failed the drug war. Can we start treating it as a medical problem? Can we stop criminalizing it? Can we start getting these people help? Sick, dude. For-profit prisons, though. Can't talk about it.
This corner right here is where I filmed the video with the.
Oh,
the
this is
getting off
that
the bus
guy?
stop.
Oh my God, this is that guy. This was one of the saddest videos I saw on Twitter's where I saw this video. These kids are getting out from the bus stop in front of a ton of homeless people, tweaked out of their mind.
This corner behind us is where...
So, okay, here's the video for people who hasn't seen it. This guy went viral. He got off the bus stop with these kids. These kids are getting off the bus stop right here. The bus drops them off, and he flips to the front-facing camera, and this is what the kids were seeing. Watch, he flips the camera right here.
Behind us.
This. Imagine your kids getting out of the bus stop, and this is what they see. This is what the kids are walking home through. This is America. Oh, man.
This is where kids or San Francisco residents are getting off of the bus every day.
Yeah, and they're forced to get off the bus right here, which is the 14 mission. They're forced to get off right there in the midst of open air drug.
Hey, Timmy, how was school today? It was cool, Mom. Got off the bus. There's some homeless people. They were fighting, some junkies robbing each other. One guy was tweaking out. It's pretty tight. Made it home safe. What?
Market where people are using and selling drugs. The tensions are really high right there. I've actually had knives and guns pulled on me down there for filming. So that's why we're gonna kind of just, you know, tread lightly. They don't like being filmed too much. The Hondurans and the Guatemalans and the drug dealers that control this market right here are not too fond of cameras. They control the corners of Mission and 7th and Mission and 8th down in the other direction. So I'm kind of like sandwiched in between both of these open air drug markets that have really flourished in the past couple years. People are suffering. A lot of these people have mental illnesses and other things that they're struggling with, and the city's policies have made the problem worse.
There's no way Los Angeles is worse than San Francisco. There's no way, dude. San Francisco's it comes from the top down. Whatever San Francisco's dealing with, LA will do it, and then San Diego.
Remember, Los Angeles is where these idiots were running around stealing people's deliveries off of those trains. And guess what? The government was doing the same thing they're doing in San Francisco. Something bad happens, no police arrive. And if a police officer does arrive, they take the suspect or the individual who's committing the crime and they put him in holding for about 12 hours. And then they put him right back on the street to do the same goddamn thing. Do you guys understand what I'm telling you? This is the insanity of what's going on in the U.S. But everybody want to think that everything's okay. I beg to differ. Man, we got videos on videos to talk about different situations, different topics. Sorry about that. I'm gonna do my best to push out this content. I'm gonna do my best. I am a busy man. You know, it takes a lot of time out of my day to make content, but anytime I can, I most definitely will. Okay? And as you can see, this video is a necessary one. People, understand. Right now, you're noticing that in different states, especially like New York, you're noticing that people are getting pushed off the train platform. People freaking dying falling off the platform and dying in all kind of other situations and stuff like this. Stabbings, all kind of murder going on. And I keep telling people, yo, you see that there's a large police presence in the subway stations and stuff like this. And I keep telling people, that's a bluff, that's a front. Meaning what? They want it to look like there's a lot of officers when there's really not a lot of officers, and they're being disbanded. They're being disbanded. They're having so many funds removed from the police departments all over the country. This is why you have police departments being disbanded. You know, Illinois, Austin, Texas. I believe Ohio State is doing the same thing, and all these other places, Mississippi, the state of Virginia, and all these other places. You can look this stuff up, guys, if you think I'm bullshitting. Okay? All right, continuing on.
Diego deals with. It's like level 3 DEFCON in San Fran, level 2 LA, level 1 San Diego. They're very close, but San Francisco leads in depravity.
And in my opinion, it's actually enabling some of the drug users as far as their stance on harm reduction.
There was actually a harm reduction center around the corner from where Richie lives. To show viewers just how easy it is to get paraphernalia, Richie went in to see what kind of tools they would provide to a local drug user.
I'm going to go right in here in the San Francisco harm reduction site, and I'm going to see what kind of paraphernalia they're giving out today. I'll be back. So,
This is very interesting. You know, when Portugal decriminalized all hard drugs and their stats improved dramatically, why did we not copy that system? The excuse we got was that it's impossible to scale the Portugal model here in the United States, which is absolute bullshit. It's very easy to scale the Portuguese model here. The problem is that the prison lobby, the pharmaceutical lobby, everybody who benefits from people being out in the street like this, all the programs, the prison system, the police, everything that benefits from constantly incarcerating these people, letting them out, rearresting them, incarcerating them again, the court system that they go through, all that money that revolves around the system constantly producing this shit was against the Portuguese model.
got so much stuff. I mean, literally, they
Yeah, in America, morality is bad for business. That's true.
gave me a whole box of syringes.
Take a look.
There's a
Take a
whole
look.
box of syringes. Those are a whole box of syringes. I mean, literally for free, right? This is all on taxpayer dollars in these non-discrete black bags. You can't even get a plastic straw in San Francisco, let alone they're just giving away as many needles as you want. I have Narcans. I have these sanitary cookers. I have tie-offs to tie off your arm. I came out with saline, water, clean saline packages to cook the dope with. These are to hold, these little tie-offs are to hold these like this. You twist it around there so you don't burn your hand while you're cooking the dope. I got...
And anybody can just come into this place and grab these bags full of equipment.
For free. I asked them what this was for. This is a new one that they're giving out, these chopsticks, and they said it was a pusher for a glass pipe so you could push your crack inside the pipe more. All right?
So they also instructed you on how to use these different types of...
I'm telling you, man.
Little
They're endorsing this.
Foil, right?
They're pushing
literally
this.
giving you small pieces of tinfoil to smoke dope off of this straw like this. They even give you vitamin C, which is new to me. I guess it's supposed to help you melt the dope down, the fentanyl and the heroin.
Oh my God. Still, Bill, I think the problem is states have their own laws. So if Oregon or California enacts a law, then people who do drugs move there to abuse the laws. Well, you can mandate this federally. We have a classification system for drugs at the federal level. You can make this a federal program. Wow.
It's supposed to help you melt that stuff down. At the end, there, after I got all this stuff, all this paraphernalia that they're basically giving away for free, the most alarming thing was I asked where I could go to get some help to get clean. What program can I get into right now to get clean and off the streets? And they had no idea.
City officials and local journalists oftentimes claim that these programs are beneficial to the community and reduce the spread of HIV. However, I wanted to speak with former drug users who have experience overcoming addiction and ask their thoughts on harm reduction programs.
I couldn't be clean like how it is right now. Because see, these addicts here, they kind of enable them. They call themselves helping them, but they enable them. They give them rooms, they give them dope, they give them syringes, they give them all kind of stuff, right? They can go up there to Lincoln City and sit down and get high.
What would your message then be to the San Francisco government that is kind of funding a lot of these harm reduction programs? What would your message to them be?
That they doing a lot more harm than they is helping them with the harm reduction approach. You know, because see, like what he say, what we doing, we have programs which is completely abstinence based. But this particular program right here on the corner, it's a collaborative with the Department of Public Health, adult probation, and the Department of Public Health. They pro harm reduction. But we told them, we got real caught up with them and say, look, we ain't really doing that harm reduction shit. Shit don't work. You know what I mean? Look at the streets now. You know, kids. You know, I didn't know that here in the Tenderloin they got more kids in the Tenderloin than anywhere in any other part of San Francisco. So all up in these buildings and everything is kids.
And isn't this one of the worst areas too?
This is the worst area, man. They gotta come around, they gotta step over addicts, play around syringes.
The government doesn't print its own money. It comes from taxpayers, right?
Yeah, of course it comes from taxpayers. You see places like Silicon Bank, for example, or these other 20 different banks. You can look this up on the internet. It's not hard to find. 20 different banks having problems, and the money is just disappearing, like I said, right? And all these people want to pull out about how much? About nearly $100 billion in deposits pulled out from banks by all these different individuals. Then on top of that, you got 20 more banks facing huge financial security losses. Listen, man, this system is done. When you start seeing all these different banks just dropping like that, that's the energy that's being, the planet is getting hit with. Okay? It's killing off and destroying all the programs that the virus has set up as its fail-safes. I'm letting you guys know. It's over. You see what's happening in Los Angeles. I already showed you videos about that last year, with people stealing from those trains. You see San Francisco. You're hearing about Austin, Texas. You're hearing about Illinois. You're seeing what's going on in New York City. I mean, people, look at what's going on with the Democratic Party. Look at all the things that Biden is doing. Letting in all those immigrants while we have inflation going on. And just before that, we had 19, if you know what I mean. Listen, man. Let me just tell people straight up, between me and you, you might want to go to the bank and start keeping your money on you and keeping it handy. Keep most of your money on you. Alright? Because I'm telling you, when the lights go out at some point, when the power goes out at some point, when your dollar collapses, they're going to want to force you guys to go on this, you know, on this situation where it's all digital. But what they don't understand, that's not going to last. That's not going to last long at all. Because when the systems go down, the electricity is going to go down. And now they want to have all kind of backups and fail-safes. Once this system is gone, they're not going to be able to pick it back up again. They think they can. They can't. And they know they can't. But there's a last-ditch effort to keep this system going. Because these archons, they don't want to pay for what they've done. They don't want to pay for it. See? They don't want to pay for it. So they got to keep this thing going. Just letting people know for the record, man. Just letting people know. Okay? Just letting people know. Alright? You guys can think whatever you want to believe. And you can even believe that I'm crazy or something. Or that I don't know what's going on. That's fine. But understand, this is where your tax dollars are going, people. All those taxes that y'all paying up to the government, this is what they're using it for in criminality, for destruction, for the destruction of society. All so they can input their new system, which is dealing with digital currency, so they can control you and monitor you, and they can micromanage you on every single freaking level. So that way you will be a slave to the system and you will not be able to get free. All so that they can control you monetarily. So if at any point they feel like you're getting out of hand or getting out of pocket, or that you're doing something they don't want you to do, they can literally threaten your livelihood, threaten the food that goes in your children's mouth. They can threaten you in any kind of way possible. You will literally become a slave. This is what they want. And they want to brand you. They want to put an RFID chip in you. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what you think all this is about? Metaverse and all this stuff for Facebook and all this stuff with this guy. What the hell is his name? Zachary, whatever the hell his name is. All of this stuff is to make everything digital. Eventually, they want to get... Hold on a second before we get into all that.
It comes from taxpayers, right? So this is a great system. And if drug addicts, if you say to a drug addict, I'm going to give you money and a place to stay where you can shoot dope all you want, that's what they're going to do. That's what we know. We weren't paying. The question isn't why the drugs, it's why the pain. That should be the question we're asking. Now, if you look at these policies, they're not designed to address the problem. They're designed to mitigate it and manage it in a way that looks better than sending everybody to CDC. It's an attempt to
You can do the Duarte program against drugs, search it. Wasn't he just imprisoning everybody left and right?
manage a problematic population and accrue a lot of wealth. There's a ton of money being made on this dysfunction.
The city of San Francisco has spent over $1 billion on homelessness for the
Yeah, he's not a good example to be using here in the West.
fiscal year of 2021 to 2022. However, the funding is only served to grow the homeless population that has navigated to the city, promising free housing and paraphernalia. Back in 2016, the homeless population was a little over 12,000. However, since the COVID pandemic and the city's decision to use hotels to house homeless individuals, that number has since risen to almost 20,000, meaning the city is spending around $57,000 per homeless person per year. Richie took us to one of the local hotels where funding for these types of programs has run out, and the homeless are now being...
No way, man. 56,000? 56 per homeless per year, dude. You can... How many Americans would benefit from getting 57,000 in San Francisco? That's per person. Holy hell. Which is over 12 times the national average. 2.2% of San Francisco's residents are homeless. They're just burning money. But $57,000 would change everybody's life in here. There it is, Omni, I've just seen that one pop up. In the 80s, the police arrested minority crack junkies. Now they don't, because the ethnicity of the junkies has changed. Interesting.
per homeless person per year. Richie took us to one of the local hotels where funding for these types of programs has run out, and the homeless are now being kicked back out onto the streets.
This entire hotel was basically housing homeless people with substance abuse problem, and now it's basically being shut down by the city. It was a thriving hotel at one point, and then they basically shut it down to basically house homeless people during the pandemic. And they gave these people these hotel rooms and no treatment, right? You gave them a place to stay, but with no drug treatment, so now they didn't get better. Now they're just getting kicked back out on the street. And you can see these people's stuff out here. They're freaking out so much about us filming this right now because they're trying to keep it hush-hush, right? The mayor's office trying to keep it hush-hush. The San Francisco Board of Supervisors is trying to keep it hush-hush. That they made a big mistake. They made a big mistake by inviting more homeless people into the city, and now the funding has ran out, and they have nowhere to put these people. So you're kicking them back out on the street with no substance abuse treatment, and basically they are not equipped with the facilities within their own personal mental fortitude to take care of themselves or get clean and sober off of drugs. This hotel right here in particular, this hotel in particular was where they put a lot of the unhoused individuals, a good hotel right here. And what happened is exactly what I said earlier, is when the funding ran out, it basically pushed these people onto the streets. But not only was that the problem, it also became a choke point for the dealers to wait for some of these mentally ill people and some of these people that are struggling with substance abuse problems. They gave them a spot to basically poach on them, if you will, because now you've now sandwiched all these people into this building. So now when
this is an embarrassment. I've said this before. It's so embarrassing now to be an immigrant coming to America, and imagine inviting your family from overseas to come and walk through BC sidewalks, drug-ridden corners, streets. You can't even have a coffee at a cafe because someone's probably taking a dump right next to you, or getting into a fire, getting robbed, or tweaking out, having a tweak off. What can you do? This is an embarrassment, dude. This is a stain on America for this to be happening here.
they come out, or when they were coming out of this building, basically they're being now bombarded with drugs, right? These people are literally, they come up to me sometimes and still offer me drugs, and I've been clean and sober for the longest, but they just still want to push their agenda and push their drug in your face, and it causes people to relapse a lot.
Locals and former police officials shared with me how the drug use, theft, and violent crime are all directly related. Proposition 47, for example, reclassified theft and drug possession from felonies to misdemeanors, and also increased the dollar amount by which theft can be prosecuted as a felony, from $400.
And because they instituted this change in law for theft to be $950 now for a felony, you had to have seen all the videos about people in broad daylight walking into stores, just taking shit, walking out, nobody can stop them, nothing.
To $950.
Businesses in San Francisco have to spend so much money for security, private security companies, mainly because of the theft policies they have here in San Francisco. Anything under $900, you won't even get charged with for stealing. So basically, the homeless and the drug addicts, they steal whatever they want as long as it's under $900, and they come out here and they sell it for drugs or money for drugs, and it's kind of like a really thriving ecosystem.
All right, guys, and I'm not trying to just take you to the worst areas of San Francisco. We're standing in front of beautiful City Hall where you have a lot of weddings going on. People come here to
Wow, that's interesting if this actually happened. A small shop somewhere in California changed all their items posted, priced to $1,000, and then kept coupons at the counter. Huh, wow.
take photos.
Look, this is just having a tweak off right here. I can just see it.
We have children that are playing in the background here. There's 2 different playgrounds. And what you're seeing is the homeless inhabiting this area. We were watching somebody smoke fentanyl over there. So even in the nicest parts of San Francisco, we're about to go to one of the suburbs, we're seeing this type of activity. So we were just in the Tenderloin District, verifiably one of the worst areas of San Francisco. However, I do want to highlight how the crime, the drugs, and the homelessness are making their way outwards to the suburbs of the city, to the nicer areas, just like this park behind me, where just a couple weeks ago, a 10-month-old baby overdosed from fentanyl. Now, the paramedics were able to get here in time. They administered Narcan to that child, and he has since survived. But this is a very nice area. Houses being listed here for upwards of $3 million, and we're still seeing children being exposed to fentanyl on the streets.
While many think the issues of drug abuse and homelessness are mostly consolidated to the downtown area of the city, horror stories like this one are starting to become more and more common. As a former user himself, I wanted to ask Richie his take on what the city could do to actually solve its drug problem.
First and foremost, they have to enforce the drug laws that are on the books. They need to arrest the dealers for selling. They need to amp that up. They need to arrest individuals for having paraphernalia and for having even minor possession of a controlled substance. They need to give these individuals, at least the addicts, a 90-day flash in jail so they can get a clear mind and be able to make a concise decision and a well-thought decision about getting into rehab. And for the ones that don't want the help and that will buck at going to rehab, they may need to be forced into some type of treatment, like a mental health sweep team that come through and maybe look for people that are in a moment of psychosis, that are having suicidal ideation, and be able to get those guys into some type of facility where they can, force them to take their medication, because in jail they can't force you to take your medication. I think they might want to rethink some of the sanctuary laws, because a lot of these individuals out here selling drugs are undocumented, and they need to maybe start some type of approach to where if the individual is a repeat offender, then maybe they need to stay away, if not from the country, from San Francisco in a whole. It's really hard to even imagine them getting a handle on this situation. I would think that they would probably have to call in the National Guard, set up medical tents, get some of these people hooked up to IVs, get them fluid, get them some serious help, because a lot of these people are just out here dying, and it's a slow, painful death, and there's no harm reduction in that.
Breach says, let's see.
So as you guys can clearly see, this is a lot of what's going on in the world right now, and these problems are spreading. As you can see, it's spreading. All this dysfunctionality, all of this criminality, all of this dysfunctional, insane behavior. Then we have all these different situations in the country where people are fighting with each other when it's not about gender. It's about when it's not about gender, it's about equality. When it's not about equality, it's about policing and gun laws. When it's not about gun laws, it's about this. And when it's not about money, it's about politics. And when it's not about politics, it's about this and that and the other. I mean, there's problems going on everywhere. And you know what? I'm going to tell you guys like this. Okay? Alright? I'm letting everybody know right now. Eventually, I know that this is painful for a lot of people to hear. I know it's scaring a lot of people right now. All of these banks that you see on here, plus all the other ones that you don't know about. The ones that you never even heard of. They will all suffer a crisis to where all of the money that you guys put into these banks will eventually disappear. And you will not be able to get it back. This is why I've been preaching this stuff for years. About societal collapse and all these different situations. Now I'm going to get up out of here. But you guys now know what's really going on. We're going to have discussions about different topics later on. This is SIT, Serious Center Temple. Thanks for watching. You guys be safe now. I'll see you guys later. Serious out.